Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What?
He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It is, especially when Navarro is basically a Sunday school now. So it becomes a lot more complicated when they burn down your bounty hunter guild and they build an elementary school there.
They put an elementary school in its place.
And here we are for yet another one of Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk. We are a Mandalorian podcast, but you can check us out on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook and all the social medias.
All those social medias.
Yes, please check us out. Bantha Milk on Twitter, Bantha Milk Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yes.
Bantha Milk Podcast at gmail.com. And you can check out all of our former episodes wherever you get your pods. We have a lot of episodes now, Rob.
We have a lot of episodes now. I think this is number 30. 30
Oh, man. The
episodes.
big 3-0.
Yeah, big 3-0, yeah.
And now, the piece de resistance,
Oh,
right?
thank goodness.
The reason you've all come here, and again, this is your one and only warning. We are going to be in spoiler territory, spoiler zone, spoiler country, spoiler city, if you will, for the next 25 to 35 minutes while we discuss the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, The Siege, right? And we're going to open right up at the very beginning, right? Because number one, I think the real star of this episode was our boy, the child, Norman.
Oh my goodness.
Udall. Your boy back there. He's really coming into his own. He's getting a personality.
Yes, he is.
He's definitely bigger this season than he was last season.
Yes.
So they're definitely showing him growing, and the fact that we're seeing him be talked to and like he's trying to fix the ship. Oh, it was hysterical. It was a great way to start the episode.
Him trying to fix the ship. Did it remind you of Baby Groot?
Yes.
With the bomb.
Yep.
This button?
No,
not that button. This
Yes.
button? The
Absolutely
red wire,
that.
the blue wire, and then he was like,
man.
"Don't touch them together," and he was like,
It was absolutely great, and then the smoke just kind of comes out. Yeah, that was a very dad moment. Dad trying to teach his child how to fix the radiator or something.
That's right, trying to change the oil on the car.
That's right.
You will learn how to do this at only 50 years old. You will learn how to change the oil on the car. So,
Yep.
yeah, that was a very cute, great opening scene. No, not that one. No, this one. No, not that one.
And then
Over
as the
and over
smoke
again.
comes out, he goes, "Are you okay?"
You okay? All right. And he was like, "That was worth a shot." All right,
Yeah.
here we go. So yeah, so it was a nice gag to start the episode. A nice fun way to start the episode. Then when the Razor Crest is flying through space, same sound effects as Millennium Falcon when that was sputtering.
Really?
Same exact sound effect. Yes.
Interesting. I did not catch that.
So this episode, I love this episode because there was a lot of throwback. I'm trying to think how to put it. A lot of visual and audio throwbacks
Sure.
because making all the stuff feel old. So everything looked like it was made in our 1980s. So it would fit right in with the Empire, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back era of technology that they had.
Yeah, they're not trying to update the technology to because science fiction today has a much more updated look than Star Wars does. Star Wars looks like what they thought science fiction might look like in the 70s.
Right.
And I guess when they rebooted the Star Wars franchise and they started doing the new stuff, they could have just said, all right, well, let's update the graphics now, but they're keeping the continuity, and I do like that a lot.
Yeah, so that was really, really cool that everything still looked 1980s-esque, but there was also so much foreshadowing in this episode, bridging the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah,
So,
we definitely get some connections. There's some connections that are kind of left up for us to debate. I think we will get some answers, some we might not. But I've already seen there are some people kind of debating what the whole laboratory was and what they were doing there. But yeah, it's
So I did like it. Originally, when I first watched it at 6:00 this morning, I thought it was a good episode. It definitely wasn't as exciting and enthralling as I felt last week's episode was.
Right.
And we also talked that we didn't think we were going to see Ahsoka this episode. We thought for sure there was going to be another episode until Ahsoka. And also, this episode, as I tweeted out very early in the morning, was directed by Carl Weathers.
It sure was.
So Chappie Sinclair directed another episode. What was his name in the Billy Madison, the golf?
Oh, that was Chubbs Peterson.
Yes. So
it's a great throwback right there.
So he actually directed this one, which I thought was pretty funny, and
I thought he did great.
I thought he did a great. Now, I don't know how much you know as far as making a movie when it comes to a director, but like there was a lot of scenes that were also like CGI scenes, like the when the X-wings or the not the X-wings, but the
TIE fighters.
The TIE fighters, when the TIE fighters were taken off and all that stuff. Do you think he said we need to make sure that these are the same ones with the wings that open up, or do you think that was like a
I'm
Dave
gonna go ahead
Filoni?
and guess that they have a certain set of continuity, and like I don't know that Carl Weathers has anything to do with it. I'm sure Dave, if anyone, it's Dave Filoni that's kind of keeping track of the nerd stuff. I mean, this is just me guessing. I could be completely wrong. But Dave seems like the guy who would be the chronicler, the keeper of the knowledge. Although Jon Favreau has a lot of Star Wars knowledge too, but I don't think it would be Carl Weathers. But I think there's got to be someone on set, some sort of, there's got to be a position on set for someone to keep track of. All right, what is the equipment of the era? We need to make sure it's has the same continuity throughout. So
Yeah, because I'm like, okay,
probably someone who works at Hasbro.
There you go. Yes. Yeah, a VP of product placement at Hasbro is definitely there somewhere. Because I was just wondering, like, how much... Because every episode is directed by a different person. So I was just curious as to how much you thought that the directors actually had input-wise into each episode. Or if the scripts basically just write themselves and the directors are just like, move the camera a little to the right. Move it a little to the left.
I thought about the same thing. Because, again, it doesn't seem like the problem we had with the movies where we have too many cooks in the kitchen. It seems like one artistic vision with several kind of palettes that they're brushing with, So I'm not getting this disjointed feeling like I got when we were watching the sequel trilogy where we have these, this one thought line and then they all seem like they're on the same page and they're all kicking the ball the same direction. They might just have, every episode definitely has a different feel to it. And I think that kind of reflects the director's choices. I would imagine the director is there more for, this is how I envision this scene. This is how I want you to perform this. I don't know. That's my guess. I don't know a whole lot about the film world. Okay. So, but again, all right. That's my layman's sort of estimation as to it.
Sure. Okay. So I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking somewhere along those lines as well. So I just want to know if you knew any more than I did. Maybe Doug will know more. Doug seems to know everything about everything. So maybe
Doug, get us up, man.
Yeah, Doug, come on.
Let us know.
All right, so that was the first couple scenes. Then he flies into Navarro, so we're back on Navarro.
Yeah, they're not going to Corvus because the fish people fixed his ship with nets and wires, and somehow that's not going to make him back to Corvus. So, they limp back to Navarro, which is all of a sudden the nicest place on Earth.
Very happy, very festive.
Yes. They've got they turned the bar into a school.
The bar's now a school.
They have like people frolicking in the streets. They've got a thriving market scene.
Yep. But did you see there's a couple of little things that I noticed? There's still some Jawas running around, still trying to work a good deal. And then there was also a statue of IG-11 in the courtyard. Yeah,
I didn't see that. That's really sweet.
Yeah, as they walk past, it's not like focused on, but it's just there in the background, so you got to check it out.
Wow.
So a little statue to IG-11. At first I thought maybe it was like the actual IG-11, but then he was blown to smithereens.
They just took his body and kind of propped it up.
Yeah, but he was blown to smithereens. So it was a statue in homage to IG-11. So that was pretty cool. So we do that. We see Cara Dune. She goes down into what used to be the Armorer's Coven.
Yeah.
And there are some, what's it called? Aqualishes down there.
Yeah, the original very awkward aliens that we see in the cantina in episode 4.
Yes.
That every single child among us saw and went, he's got a butt for a face.
He does. Butt face, yeah. So they're down there. They're some, seedy little individuals, and they call Cara Dune the Marshal.
Yeah, so first of all, they try and chop the ferret's head off.
Yes.
The weasel, whatever
the weasel, ferret, space
whatever
ferret.
The space ferret, yeah. He's adorable and ugly all at the same time. How dare
he needs a bath, and you think once you give him a bath, he'll be a cute little ferret.
You just feel like you could fix him, you know?
Yes, most definitely.
But yeah, so again, I feel like it's awesome. Just every episode is kind of treating this Western theme differently. Mm-hmm. But again, it seems like they're just leaning. They want to remind us every now and then this is a Western.
Yes.
You're in space,
but
this is a Western. And so like they also called Grief Karga magistrate at one point.
Okay.
So essentially they're treating the Outer Rim territories as the Wild West, and they're we get all these reinforcements that it's the Wild West. We get the marshals in different areas and the magisters, and we get the X-wing pilots are essentially the feds that come in, and they want to try and help, but the locals don't trust them. And so it's just really a really cool. I would have never thought to have just been so literal about it, but it works.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And I do like how. We don't have to skip to the end yet, but whatever. But how there are the X-wing pilots are trying to be the federales, be the sheriffs over everything, but you can tell that they're scraped really thin because we keep seeing the same people.
Yeah.
So it's like one sheriff is in charge of 20 planets or whatever.
Yep.
So the armor was missing. She was gone, so she went somewhere.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see her when we saw that Mandalorian symbol coming down on the Coven. I thought, oh man, she's gonna pop out and help us out. But no, Cara, she served some justice.
She sure did.
Yeah.
And did you see that the Mythosaur symbol? Did they take it down or was it just down?
I don't know. It was down. I didn't see it anywhere. So either they took it down but I think maybe that.
I think the armorer took it with her when maybe she's setting up a new coven somewhere else.
Yep.
Covert.
Covert.
That's
the
covert.
One.
Yes. Right. So the Cara Dune kicked some butt. She kicked those Aqualish's butt, and then saved the weasel, and was like, "Go, you're free." And then the weasel's just following him.
You're my buddy now.
Yeah.
You saved me.
You saved me. Then we go into the classroom.
Yes. So our boy Kyle lands, and they jump out the ship with the child, and Grandpa Karga is so excited to see this little guy. He's like, "Where's my green little boy?
Where? Oh,
you're
so cute. Let me
jolly
give you a
old
dollar."
Saint Nick. Want to sit on my lap? Tell me what you want for Christmas.
With his gray goatee.
Yep. And they're just very happy to see. And then, of course, we get that seedy-looking alien. It always has to be a seedy-looking alien.
Always a seedy-looking alien. And as soon as as soon as they're walking by and you see him, look back,
Yep.
You know he's a bad guy. You know he's going to do something. I thought he was going to blow up the ship, or I thought he was going to kidnap the child or something, Norman. I didn't know what was going on, but he was up to no good.
Yeah.
So luckily, we find out that nobody's dead, nobody's blown up, but they do the same thing that they did to the Millennium Falcon, which was they put a tracking device on him. So now they know where he goes.
People will never learn. They'll never learn.
They will never learn.
But yeah, so while the strange-looking fish man is putting a tracking device on the Razor Crest, they take a brief jaunt over to the one building schoolhouse.
Yes.
Where the protocol droid is teaching about hyperspace routes.
Yeah,
I don't know if you caught exactly what they were talking about there.
She talked about the 5 major trade routes in the galaxy.
Yeah.
The taxation of the trade routes is what started episode 1 of Star Wars
That's
movies.
right. It
was
started
the fact that it was the taxation.
Yeah, the Federation of what was it? I forget the name of the Trade Federation. The Trade Federation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did mention 2 trade routes, the Carillion Way and the Hydian Way, which was from Clone Wars.
Okay.
So they mentioned those 2. Also, she was a protocol droid teacher. She reminds us of the New Republic's rotating capital world as well. So in this era, the capital rotates, and it's on Chandrila, something like that.
Yeah.
The home world of former Rebel Alliance leader and current Chancellor Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma, what a gal.
And she also utters the immortal "Many Bothians died," which is this line from Return of the Jedi. So she talks all about that. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, I did not pay that close attention to that. That was
I did some research.
Okay.
Even after watching it twice, I still had to see what other people said about it.
I got you.
So and then by the time the Force Awakens starts, the capital will be Hosnian Prime, which is destroyed by Starkiller Base.
Hosnian Prime, right?
Hosnian Prime, yes.
Yep.
Which was then okay. So that was and that scene is awesome. More comedy from our good buddy Norman over here over my shoulder.
Yeah, the
He sits
space
down-
macarons.
Yeah. He sits down and he's like, "Hey, I want a cookie." And he
No.
looks at the kid. He's like, "Meh." The kid's like, "No." So, of course, what do? I was afraid he was going to start.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I was
I
like,
thought
this
for
is about to
sure-
go a really dark place.
I thought for sure he was going to Cara Dune her and start giving the kid the old force choke. But instead, he just takes the cookies.
Yeah, good for him, man. You
Using
know,
the Force, just grab
with
the
great
cookies.
power comes great responsibility. But,
That's right.
But with it should also come great blue space cookies.
Great blue space cookies. So that should be our next Bantha milk. Should be somebody should make us some blue cookies.
Or we could just get some blue macarons and some milk with blue coloring in it and do some cookies and milk.
There you go. Sounds
I'll
like
be
a plan
so
to
about
me.
that.
I'm in.
It's coming up on the holiday season. We need something cozy.
Yes, we need some blue milk and some blue macaroons, and
That's right.
it'll be delicious. Okay, so fun little scene, and then Kyle says once again, wherever I go, he goes.
Yeah, he really likes this kid.
He likes this kid
They're
a lot.
buddies.
They are good buddies.
And this is again, of course, our time every episode we get to get some action. It's like, all right, what are we doing now that's going to move the plot forward? Here we go.
Here we
right?
go.
And so all right, leave the baby here because we can't have good action scenes
while
if
you're
we have to
holding
worry
on to a
about the
little
child.
puppet. Yep.
Right, and then let's go to this random Imperial base that has not been abandoned, and we're wondering why. And so they meet their buddy Mithril.
Yep.
From episode 1, the fish boy.
The fish boy from episode 1.
Horatio Sands.
Yeah. So I was happy to see Horatio Sands again. He was a good lighter comedic comedy to it, whiny little oh, I don't want to go in there. Okay, well then you're going to burn in lava. Okay, I'll come with.
Yeah. It was also cool to find out about his humidity vest. He's clearly a aquatic species.
Yes.
And the reason he's able to stay above water, I guess, is because he's wearing a vest. And then as soon as he sees Mando, he releases a bunch of it.
Yeah, a bunch of steam releases out of his neck, which is pretty cool. He also talked about how he still couldn't see very well out of his left eye from being locked in carbonite.
Hibernation sickness, that's right.
Yes. Which is what we also saw another throwback to Han Solo.
Yes, indeed.
So it was very cool that we got that. And then, so as they're going through the station, finding bad guys here and there, there was two good bad guys falling gags.
Yes. As soon as they showed me that pit of lava, I was like, someone's falling in that pit of lava.
Someone's falling in there.
They're not showing us a pit of lava and not throwing somebody down.
That's right. If you're going to show us a monster, somebody's going to fall into the monster. If you're going to show us lava, they're going in lava.
Oh, yeah.
So Kyle flies up when they're trying to get into the doorway, and he throws somebody right off the edge. Then they take the elevator up, and he's already standing up there. He's like, I beat you.
Yeah, and of course he's standing over a body. He's just standing there waiting for them. Like, I'm going to stand right over this body until they get here so they see my work.
like
I did this, guys.
Like when your dog or your cat brings in like a mouse from outside and they're so proud of it. Look what I have. He's like, look what I did. I killed all these guys while you were trying to open up the door.
You kill people. We get it.
Yes, we get it. You kill bad guys. So then they're running around inside, and then Horatio Sands had a great line when he had to go round the small little there was
no handrail.
Platform with no handrail, which was a great throwback to Family Guy's Star Wars special.
Yep.
In the Family Guy Star Wars special, I don't care about the insurance and the health and dental. I want a freaking handrail. Is it too much to ask for a handrail?
I didn't even think about that. I haven't seen that episode in a while. That's a great throwback right there.
Yeah. So they're pulling things left and right. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are. So that was fun.
Yeah, but then so we go from in that they kind of break in, and then we're getting I got vibes of like that, the break-in episode from last season where they were with Bill Burr and them kind of going through, just kind of methodically making their way through the base.
But also notice it wasn't nearly as well choreographed as the other Mandalorians last week.
No, last week we had, just death any time there was movement. This time it was a little shakier than that, but this is where things started to really push forward, because this is where it went from just goofy side quests to, this actually matters.
Yes.
Right? Because we push into a room with a bunch of blue liquid in it. And we have clearly some folks wanting to hide some secrets by destroying a computer.
Yeah. So when he first started shooting the computer, at first I thought he's such a bad shot that he couldn't even handle the gun. And instead of aiming at them, he was like, oh. But then I realized he was trying to destroy the computer on purpose because they didn't want anybody getting the information out of the computer.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, okay.
So now my question for you is, what do you think they were doing here?
Well, funny you should ask, because I think they were doing one of your favorite things whatsoever. Their patch on their arm was the same thing as Dr. Pershing's.
Sure was.
Which was the cloning, same patch as the clone people in whatever episode.
Caminos,
2. Yes,
the
episode 2. And they were talking about the M count.
They sure were.
Which M count could be short for everybody's favorite Metachlorians, which everybody wanted to get away from.
I love that they included it as a hint, like M count. Oh, you know what this means, but they couldn't bring themselves to say the whole word. They're like, you know what it is, we know what it is, but we don't want to say what it is.
We don't want to say
Can we just come to an agreement here that we're going to leave this here with M count and let it be?
So now we're going back around in circles again with possibly how the Force works. So in episodes 1, 2, and 3, it was all about the metachlorines, and then everybody hated that. So then when they did episodes 7, 8, and 9, they didn't really mention it. It just became like a spiritual thing instead.
Right.
But now we're back to they needed to get the M count out of a Force-sensitive creature so that they could make Force-sensitive clones, which kind of look like they could be Snokes in there, and they're trying to make a better Snoke for Palpatine. So once again, this is the foreshadowing for episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Right.
But now they're throwing it back to the metachlorines. So.
Yeah, it is really cool to see that this little kind of story, and I knew it was going to be this way, and I think some people will be upset about it because there are going to be plenty of people who want this to be its own isolated thing, which is fine. It should, and I think it will be too, but it is cool to see how this is tying in to kind of the larger Star Wars story. And so this little story, it's like it feels like all of the best Star Wars stories that have come out recently are about the little stories that contributed to the big story.
Yes.
Like Rogue One. Rogue One was about that little story that contributed to our major story. And that Rogue One is one of a lot of people's favorite Star Wars movies. And The Mandalorian, I think, is one of the best things to happen to Star Wars in years. And here it is just kind of helping push along the main movies from a different point of view. So it's a really cool thing. I tend to think that, I mean, there are a lot of different schools of thought out there as to what they're doing. There are some people who think that maybe Giancarlo Esposito's character is trying to get the Force for himself. I don't know that that's... I do think you're right with the Kaminoan thing on their arms and all the, they're talking about getting the blood and stuff and a host body. I think they're trying to work on either Snoke or Plagueis, or not Plagueis,
right.
Palpatine.
Palpatine, yeah.
Because you got to figure this is years after, maybe 5 or 6 years after he died. So, I don't know, because he made Snoke, right? So, but when we go to Exegol, we see all these tubes with extra Snokes, and so I don't know. It's just very. It can be really anything, but I'm thinking we're working clones here.
I think so. Oh, most definitely working clones, and then we see that, and they talk about how they need more blood from the patient or whatever they call it.
They call it the donor.
The donor, yes. Yeah. They need more blood from the donor because they used up all the samples that they had.
Yep.
So that they're taking his blood. Now, whether the M count are metachlorines in his blood or...
Maybe it's mayonnaise.
Maybe it's mayonnaise in his blood.
Need his mayonnaise count.
Yeah, so he probably has very high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of mayonnaise in his blood. So
well, he had all those deviled eggs last week.
He sure did.
And
now this week, all those blue cookies. So
that's right.
All he's doing is eating. He's doing a lot of eating. And also, on a side note, the flamethrower was not used again. Yeah, 2 episodes in a row not used at all. So
that is a real letdown, Kyle.
So I think next week it's just going to be 37 minutes of just a flamethrower
That's
going
right.
nonstop.
Anytime someone so much as looks at him wrong, he's just going to whip that flamethrower out.
Another reason that I think that it could be Snoke or Snokes in those blue tubes, if you listen to the music that was playing, it was the same music that was playing when they met Snoke in episode 7 or 8.
Wow,
it was the same exact music, yeah. So they pulled that out also. All right, so then we see all that then they see the message from Dr. Pershing's, and Kyle says, I have to go get the kid, because now he knows he left the kid alone, and he knows that people are looking for the kid.
Yep.
So
yeah, I guess they didn't realize that Moff Gideon had gotten away last time. They figured he crash landed and died, but he didn't.
He didn't, because there was no explosion.
Yeah, of course, and if there's no explosion, he should know better.
He should know better.
Kyle's usually pretty good about double tapping, so it's a little strange that he didn't. But yeah, so he jetpacks back to town, and they go, all right, we got to get out of here. So Kara finds the big old dump truck and just hauls herself off a cliff in it.
That's right. So this was a very cool chase scene. I like this chase scene a lot. It was good action, good CGI, great graphics.
Yeah, and the use of the old sound effects for the speeder bikes too, like that whining, screaming sound, was so nostalgic, and it gave me super Shadows of the Empire vibes because that one episode or the one. At his level in Shadows of the Empire where you're riding on the speeder bikes and you got to chase down the swoop gang and smash them into the sides of the walls and stuff. Yeah, definitely gave me Shadows of the Empire vibes.
Yes, it was awesome. A lot of fun. I did like... so apparently maybe it's not the stormtroopers' fault. Maybe it's just the bad equipment that they can't hit anything.
Maybe. Because
Carl Weathers was having a hard time trying to shoot everybody as well. Using that Imperial stuff that he was using, but the ship looked really cool that she was flying. The one thing that I didn't like, Carl Weathers and Gia Caranta had a lot of cheesy action hero lines.
For sure. I watched it a second time tonight when I got home with Peg because she hasn't watched it. And I legitimately said to her, like, they're giving her a lot of really corny lines.
Yeah.
Like when she backed up and opened her, what are you waiting for? An invitation? Like,
yeah.
Really?
And it was like, hurry up. Like both of them are the most impatient people in the world. They're making this like fish guy break into everything. And they're like, come on, hurry up. Let's go. What are you waiting for?
Yep.
And he's like, give me a second. Like you guys don't know how to do this, so you have to be a little patient.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of cheesy, like, what are you waiting for? An invitation? And come on, let's go. And then at one point she's like, what are you doing back there? And Carl Weathers was like,
oh, you want to try this thing? Yeah.
Yeah, you come back here and shoot it. Like, so I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
That definitely was a little cheesy for my taste.
A little cheesy. It was very like cartoonish that way. But whatever. The chase scene was fun. I did like when the two bikers split and one went on each side, and Cara Dune looked to the right, and she was just like, "Watch this!"
Yep.
And just smashed them right into the wall, and she gave like a smirk and a smile.
No chance.
And the guy that was at the end, who was about to throw the bomb down inside, he was so slow. Like
at that point, don't you think you would have just thrown the thing and jumped off?
Yeah, exactly. Like it took him 20 seconds too long to do that, which, and then it took Carl Weathers 25 seconds too long to target him. I'm like, come on already. So, but whatever. It was fun. It was a good action sequence. And then I also liked the mythosaur was like, we're almost there, as there's 3 TIE fighters chasing them. Yeah. Like, what were they going to do when they get into town? Then the TIE fighters are just going to light up the town.
My thought was, by that point, they'll be in the green zone, which is totally safe, according to them. Right? So I don't know. But
TIE fighters following them.
Lucky for them, it's Star Wars, and they know that every episode they get at least 2 Deus Ex Machinas.
Yep.
And here we have Kyle in a miraculously very quickly fixed Razor Crest come in.
Super fixed.
And just destroy. Man, like they turned the Razor Crest into a Mandalorian, basically. Like, hey, you know how overpowered your armor is? Let's do this to your ship now.
To your ship as well.
So much so that they made little Norman literally toss his cookies.
Oh, how about Norman when he put his hands up? He was like he was on a roller coaster. Woo,
it was amazing.
It was amazing. Also, the TIE fighters. Did you see the guy was like spinning the knob like they did in A New Hope?
Absolutely.
And all those sound effects were the same sound effects from like A New Hope and stuff. So they definitely repurposed all the sound effects. So that was really, really cool.
Absolutely.
And I did like them doing all that stuff. But yeah, so little Norman had a great time until he had too much fun, and then the blue cookies came back out again.
Yeah.
And then, so then he defeats the bad guys because, of course, somebody has to come by and save the day for you. So this time it was Mando saving the day. Blows up all 3 of them. It was really cool. We talked about it last week about the special effects and how good they are for a TV show.
That dogfight sequence was awesome.
Yeah, like movie quality dogfight sequence, like so good. So it was awesome. I think it's because they're using the video game
engine, Unreal Engine, right? Is that what they use?
Yeah, Unreal Engine. Yeah, so it's like everything's already built for them. They're basically Dave Filoni just has his PlayStation controller.
That's right.
Like, let's see. I think I can do this. Whatever.
He's got the best job, man.
He does have the best job. So that was cool. But then, so the whole episode, and it was only a 35-minute episode again. So we talked about that. I don't think we're never getting anything better than that.
Yeah.
But so the episode, 20-something minutes of it was all this fight scene. Then the last 4 minutes, they throw so much information at you in the last 4 minutes.
Yep.
You're just like, whoa. And then it seemed like a little rushed to me. Like, they're like, okay, we want to get the rest of this stuff into this episode. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're moving on. Yep. And I'm like, no, stop. But, so we see, after he saves the day, he's like, I'm out. I got to go find some person that I never heard of before. Ahsoka something or other, whatever. I don't know who this person is. And Carl Weathers is like, sure, well, anytime you want to come back, we'll be here. And so he leaves. And then they go on to this giant Imperial Star Cruiser ship, whatever you want to call it. Well, do you know what it was called?
It kind of looked like Spaceball 1, just a little
It
smaller.
did look like Spaceball 1, that's
Yeah.
for sure. It kept going. But then some captain or whatever she was, she talks to that seedy guy. So we see the little alien guy again. And
He knew he was up to no
find
good.
out that he planted a tracking device on the Razor Crest. So then she goes, and we finally see Grief Karga, and he comes out, and he's like, or
No,
Moff
not Grief
Gideon,
Karga, Moff Gideon, there you go.
Moff Gideon, and he's like, yeah, that's right, I'm back. You thought you got rid of me.
And he's
And,
also surrounded by what looked like, I'd imagine, some sort of battle droid.
yes, like super battle droids.
Yep.
Like, let's see, where's Imperial? Oh, I had to write down what type of battle droids they were. That's funny. I thought I did. But yeah, so people are saying like dark battle droids, which are from deep cuts from like RPG, like from like Star Wars board games and stuff like that. But then they also had the person working on them had a symbol of the Imperial Department of Military Research, making, here it is, Dark Troopers. I knew I wrote it down.
Okay.
So they're making Dark Troopers, which looks like he's about to take a new new troopers, new robot troopers into battle.
Well, when you're dealing with Mandalorians, you're going to need something with a little more oomph.
Yeah, because we all know that stormtroopers can't shoot, so you need
That's
something
true.
that's going to be a better targeter than that.
And of course, they leave us on that cryptic note of I might not have you now, but I'll get you next time.
Mm-hmm.
Inspector
I'm going to follow
Gadget.
you and expect. We'll get you next time. So I did find it interesting. I never knew, but I found out today. You know when he has that pen, the code thing to open the doors.
Right.
A lot of like the captains and generals and whatever in the Imperial, they always have those little like silver things in their uniform.
Right.
And that's what they are. They're all those encryption codes. So I didn't know that that's what they were before. I thought they just like to keep pens in their in case they need to write something
Now
down.
we know. It's a
Now we
beautiful
know. So yeah, so that's all the notes that I have.
Yeah, it was an excellent episode. Again, it was a more intimate, sort of smaller scale story than last episode, but it had implications in the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a great episode. It was fun. Maybe not as good as the last episode, but at least 3 of the 4 episodes so far this season have been just great episodes.
Yes. I think if last episode was a 4, at first I would have given this one like a 3, but now I'm thinking it's like a 3.5 because
Right.
of all of the foreshadowing that they now that I realized was in this one.
Right.
So I think it's cool. Like they told us that we were going to find some tie-ins to the Force Awakens and to the final 3, and I think this was definitely the start of, if
Right.
not the only scene. If this is the only one, then at least we have some good tie-ins to what's coming up next.
Yeah,
but
and
this is definitely the start of it.
Like you mentioned, now I think we have seen everything from the trailers.
Yes.
Just finally, I feel like every episode we find a few more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene where they jumped off the cliff in the speeders was definitely in the trailer.
And all the them inside of the Imperial base. We were like, oh, they're inside
Right.
an Imperial base, but
Right.
where? So that was it. Jumping off the speeders, going down. And I'm watching it with Trey, and he goes, they're not very good on their bikes. Like, as they're going
Yeah.
down the cliff.
2 of them slam into each other.
Fiery slam, too. Like,
Yep.
when I was a kid, I had a 3-wheeler, like an ATV. And we had there's a whole bunch of us. We would go 3-wheeling and 4-wheeling and stuff like that all over the place. And but never, and we ran into each other a couple of times. Like I bent an axle and things like that, and got knocked off my bike once or twice. But never did it explode into a fiery explosion like that. So
Well, maybe they need to drop a truck on it like they did to our poor guy Mithril's speeder.
was that my speeder?
Yeah, buddy. It sure
Yes,
was.
it was. It
It
sure
isn't
was.
anymore, but it sure was.
It sure was. It's now just scrap metal right now.
Scrap
But yes.
metal and just oil squeezed out of it. Oh
Just
boy!
crushed oil.
And then I think the last thing that we see that we haven't talked about is the cop now, right? Kind of taking a
Oh
report.
yeah.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
he was taking a statement from Grief Karga, and then he talked to Gina Carano about just kind of his experience, and he fought in the Alderaan campaign, and he leaves his little shiny medal with her.
Yeah, and I like Grief Karga. He was like, I don't know, maybe somebody did it. I don't know who did it. I couldn't tell you. Like, he's like, leave me alone. I'm not giving you any information.
Snitches
I don't
get
like
stitches.
You. Stitches get stitches. And then even Cara Dune, who you can see there's now like a lighter side to Cara Dune. She's
Sure.
not all about violence because she's feeding that weasel ferret thing.
Sure.
And then another dumb thing to ask somebody, oh, you're from Alderaan? Yes, I was from Alderaan.
Did you lose anyone?
No.
Nah.
My whole
didn't know
family,
anyone there.
Yeah, my whole family and all my friends were all on vacation on Tatooine when they decided to blow it up. So
Beautiful thing.
it was a beautiful thing. Yeah, I lost everybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, come on. Like, why would you ask somebody that? That's like, whatever. Just a dumb question. Just a bad question to ask somebody. So that was interesting. And then, I don't know. Here's like, you're obviously a good fighter. You should join us. And she's like, nope, I'm not a follower. But yet she was in the Rebel before. So
I guess we need to learn a little more about her story and what happened.
yes, we
Maybe
need
in
some
future
backstory.
episodes.
Hopefully,
Or else, knowing Star Wars, they'll make like a tie-in comic book series with her.
I was going to say we're going to read the Cara Dune's 3-book series.
That's
Where we
right.
find out about her training
right.
and her shock trooper days and all that good stuff.
Yep. But yeah, so great episode. A lot
Great
of things
episode.
happened. It moved the story forward without being crazy. Like last
Yes.
episode, there was a lot to digest. I think there was a good amount to digest this time, but it managed to move the episode forward while keeping a more intimate storyline, which is great.
Yes.
But that's I think all we have. We're interested to know what you have and what you saw, and if you caught anything we did not see.
Yeah,
right?
if we missed something, let us know what we missed.
Yeah, at banthermilkpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Or on
Email us,
Facebook. Or on
Facebook,
Instagram.
or Twitter even.
Or Twitter
Send us-
even.
Mention us in all of those. And hey, even I think we have some pictures on Pinterest somewhere. I don't even know.
And we have a website, don't we?
We do have a website, banthamilkpodcast.com. Hit us up on there as well.
That's right.
So we got all kinds of stuff now. Next week's episode of 5 of the season, will be directed by Dave Filoni himself.
The man, the myth, the legend.
So everybody is assuming, and by everybody I mean everybody, like no matter who you talk to.
My cat, right here.
Your cat was already told me that if Dave Filoni's directing it, then you lost your headphones.
Yep.
If Dave Filoni's directing it, then we definitely are going to see Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, I'm almost positive we'll see Ahsoka next week. But it'll be Black Friday. It'll be after Thanksgiving. You don't know. Maybe they're trying to throw us a loop. Maybe it'll be a big old surprise. They'll pull a switcheroo. You never know.
You never know.
But make sure you check us out. Tell your friends. Share
Please.
us on your social media. Share us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We know that Star Wars fans flock together, so talk to your fellow nerd friends and say, hey, there's this great podcast, and if you listen to them, they won't send you money, but they will banter at you for a whole long time.
Sure will.
Right,
We
so-
love to banter.
So please tell your friends.
Yes, please tell your friends. Please have them listen. Join in on the conversation with us.
Send us an email.
I feel like if you listen to us, it's like listening to your two friends talk about Star Wars, and that's us. We're your two friends.
We're your buddies,
So,
your
we're
pals,
your buddies.
your amigos.
So send us an email. Let us know what it's like to be friends with us and how cool we are, and what you think about Star Wars, and we'll talk about it on our show.
Yeah,
Because that's what we do.
So check it out next week. We're just chugging forward. You can be sure that we're going to have some holiday episodes coming out to you soon, right?
Yes.
But unless Rob has anything else to add, I do believe that we have spoken.
We have spoken.